Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts, Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Hey folks, this is episode number 308, and this week we have Ron Williams going to discuss his book. I guess it's an autobiography of sorts. I Stole Your Love, the 100% true story of a 100% true Kiss fan. Now, before we get started, Ron, what is your definition of a true Kiss fan?
I'm ready for this question. Somebody asked me it a couple of weeks ago, and I just said, anyone whose life has been touched by Kiss in any way at any time. So it's pretty broad.
That is a beautiful answer, because I absolutely cannot stand when somebody was like, if you like this era of Kiss, you're not a true fan. Fuck off.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree with that, right? There's been many incarnations of the band, even when they keep the lineup the same, there's different eras and they go in different directions for a short time. And nope, I love it all, right from, 73 to 2022.
Right. Well, I mean, you take a look at the Bruce Kulick, Eric Carr era. You had Asylum, you had Creatures of the Night, you had Hot in the Shade, three completely really different albums,
Not Creatures. Creatures was a little before.
I said Creatures, I meant Crazy Nights.
Crazy Nights, yeah.
I've been in the sun. I'm a little baked today. As you can see, look at my shoulder there.
Oh, man, you are really roasted, dude.
And then after Ron talks about his book, we are going to review the Kiss album, Dynasty. Now, for those of you in Australia, that's Dynasty.
Dynasty.
So, Paul, don't sue me for stealing your line.
That's right.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your book. What inspired you to write the book?
Well, you're bang on that it's autobiographical in a sense. My mom read it, when it first came out. And she said it was The Wonder Years meets Kiss. That old television show, The Wonder Years.
Mm-hmm.
So, I thought that was a pretty good description. It is basically about my life growing up in a small town just outside of Vancouver, Canada. But 99% of the stories involve Kiss, right? Whether it's collecting things, going to concerts, seeing tribute bands, whatever the case may be. And what inspired me, I guess, a couple of different things. I read a book a couple of years ago. It was called Edward Van Halen, a definitive biography by somebody, I think it was Kevin Dodd, sorry. And, he spent a fair amount of time going through Eddie's biography, growing up, that type of thing. But he also spent some time going through some experiences that he had as a fan. Lining up to buy records, seeing Van Halen in concert. He talked about his brother taking the time to replicate Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstein guitar. And I almost found that I enjoyed those pieces more than I did just reading about Eddie Van Halen, partly because I had heard most of the stories already. So there was that. And I used to listen to another podcast called History Science Theater. And they would talk about growing up, dressing up like Kiss, doing the air bands. So, I think the two things just kind of came together, and I just started putting the stories down in Word.
Cool. How long did it take you to write the whole thing?
Good question. About 3 years, on and off. There were times where my schedule was a little more open and I was a little more motivated, and I would spend, up to an hour or two every day, maybe for a few weeks. And then, I wouldn't touch it for a couple of months, and then inspiration would hit again. I know one of your last shows with the two sister musicians, they said that, COVID was an opportunity for them to really buckle down. It was no different for me either, right? During COVID, I just had time that I could sit and type. So pretty much got it done at that point. And then it was all, reading through it, editing it, typesetting it, getting it up on Amazon.
Did you have anybody do any proofreading? I mean, not proofreading, but that read it first that was like, dude, don't put this in there, or you're missing this, or
that's called an editor.
Yeah, that's the word. unprofessional, unscripted,
There you
whatever.
Unprepared.
I didn't, and I'm a little bit worried about that. It's like you say with the stories, right? Because a lot of the stories involve family members, friends, that type of thing. But no, I didn't kind of ask anyone's permission or get their, getting the sign off it before I just kind of put it out there. In fact, there's one person mentioned in the book several times when we're young, and a couple of the stories maybe aren't that favorable towards them. And I noticed that his wife bought the book right away. And then even though I haven't seen him probably in about 20 years, I ran him at the mall a few days ago. And, the first thing he said to me is he just said, "Don't you have to get someone's permission before you write about them?" And then he just laughed, and, we had a good talk and everything like that. So I was a little nervous just to put it out there. There's stories about family and whatnot, but nope, there it is. Just like the podcast, it's just raw and uncensored note there.
Cool. Well, you didn't get a black eye out of the deal, so I guess you're all right.
There you go. Yeah, nothing more anyways.
Makeup does wonders over.
When you write your next book, change the names to protect the guilty.
There you
I
go.
didn't know until you that. Exactly.
No, like I said, I sit through and read it. Actually, I sped read it over the last few days, and I really liked it. I found myself stopping though at times because of a story that you did reminded something that was in my life a lot. It brought back a lot of memories to me, as far as, because, you have that select group, that were the KISS, because not everybody, they were a love-hate band, and then you had your close guys that, your cell of people that you dealt with, and, you try to, like you said, everything was KISS, everything you could get your hands on, and every other, other people. Then you had, the older kids, that introduced you either to KISS at first, or you found out
because you liked them.
Well, no, or just that they had cool things, and you get hand-me-downs from them. So yeah, as I read the book, I was a lot of times I kind of almost stop, and I'd have to just kind of stop for a little bit and think about, damn, and then you get, oh shit, I need to get back to reading, because but no, I did like that part about the book as far as just bringing up a lot of my own memories.
Oh, that's great to hear, Dennis. I mean, that's what I put in the back. I said, well, not quite what you described, but I said a must read for anyone who grew up as a KISS fan or wishes they grew up as a KISS fan. And, even if, I'm not sure what your case was, but even if you weren't a diehard KISS fan growing up, you were a music fan and you have all these experiences and connections to past friends, family, growing up, different bands. That's really what it's all about, I think.
Right. Exactly.
It's all about the experience. And the cool part too about the book that I liked is you've taken your kids on this journey, or your kids have joined you on this journey. And, I've been lucky enough. Alan, has your son been on the KISS journey?
Yes. We went to, I believe was Starwood Amphitheater in Nashville. Okay. I think it was the Rock the Nation tour, the one in 2004, okay. When they did something radical, and every couple of shows they would take out 2 or 3 songs to put in 2 or 3 different songs, and
happen.
I got to see them perform all the way. I got to see them perform "Got to Choose Electric," So yeah, that was his first time getting to see boobs. Because
that's important.
I was standing in front of him, and they popped up on the screen, and all of a sudden from the back I could see his ears go up like this. And I'm like, "What are you looking at, son?" He's like,
Part of a KISS concert.
Absolutely.
Not anymore, though. They won't show them anymore. I don't know why that is.
Well, that's because we're all old and nobody wants to see them old saggy ones.
They don't have a camera
that I just take my damn shirt off.
They don't have a camera that drops that low.
Exactly.
It could be it.
That's funny.
But no, it's like I said, just the memories that it brought up and stuff was kind of cool. And with me, I was a huge fan from about 75, 74, 75 at the very beginning. But I never, my first show was Lick It Up. I never could. My parents wouldn't let me. We live kind of in the country, kind of the same situation. and I just never got the opportunity to just see Kiss until I moved to college and then in the 80s. And then, from then I hit every show, from that point.
Made up for
But,
lost time.
Exactly. And then luckily, like I said, we got to see him. And then all three of us went to the reunion show. So and see Bill, I met Bill, when we worked at a fast food restaurant. And that was the one thing that actually, that's why we started hanging out was, hey man, you like Kiss? Yeah, I like Kiss. Come over to the house, that kind of thing.
Yep,
That's
kind of started it.
And it has, so anyway.
And here we are.
Yep.
40 years later.
No kidding.
35, 36 years
no
later.
kidding.
Whatever.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
So, obviously you're selling a book here, so we don't want to give too much information in the book away, but I have kind of a two-part question for you. Is there a story in the book that you kind of had difficulty deciding to put it in there because it may have been too much of a, I don't want to say traumatic, but it was just too much? And then is there a favorite story that you have in the book?
Oh yeah, great question. I don't know about too traumatic. I'm a pretty open guy. I don't mind sharing a lot about myself. A couple of the stories, I got to admit, I kind of thought, oh man, is anybody going to want to hear about this? When I was in grade 10, I guess I was 15 years old, and Vinnie Vincent was coming to Vancouver, which was exciting. He had left Kiss. It was probably 1980, I guess 6 or something, 87. And my friends and I decided that we were going to go down and get in. But the problem was that the club was 19 plus, right? In Canada or Vancouver, anyways, the drinking age is 19. So, we had this great idea that we were going to sneak in. Well, we got there at about 9 p.m. The sun's going down and we're watching the people that are coming in. And I mean, we're sitting there in, old Nikes and, football t-shirts, and the people are coming in, guys and girls with eyeliner, spiked up hair, high heels, spandex pants. We realized how ridiculous it was to think about going in. But, we were steadfast. We were going to do it. So it got later and later. And, before we knew it, it was 11:30. The band was on. It was dark out. And we realized that the bus wouldn't be going back to our town. So we were kind of stranded in Vancouver there. So, that was a fun one. I kind of thought, I don't know if there's much, much point sharing that, but hopefully some people got a laugh out of it. In terms of my favorite story, I don't know if I had one to start, but, just talking about the book, things are coming out. And, Dennis, you mentioned, sort of collecting Kiss merchandise, getting it from the older kids. When I was in grade 8, I guess it was about 1984, I had managed to get my hands on the Peter Criss doll, the Mego doll from the late 70s. And I was sort of the envy of my group of friends because, where we were living, none of us had ever seen a Kiss doll, right? I don't even think we'd even seen a photo of it, right? We had just sort of heard legends or whispers or maybe read about it in a magazine. So it was sort of the most cherished item amongst my friends and I. And fast forward a couple of years later, and I was at one of those kids' birthday parties. And by that point, we were sort of entrenched in junior high, kind of growing apart a little bit. And, I hadn't seen my friend Graham in a while. At the birthday party, there was a bunch of new kids, that I kind of recognized, but didn't really know. I felt a little bit out of place. And as Graham began opening his birthday gifts, I even felt more awkward because it wasn't the normal heavy metal albums and posters that I was used to. Instead, he was opening up, the Beastie Boys cassette, LL Cool J, a bunch of rap artists. So, I grew a little bit uneasy because I knew I had bought him Highway to Hell. And of course, a minute later, he opened it up and kind of feigned interest. So, feeling the friendship kind of slipping through my hands, I sort of pulled him to the side. And I said, hey, I actually got another gift for you, but I forgot it. I want to give you the Peter Criss doll. And, right when I said it, I kind of regretted it because, A, I had just lost my Peter Criss doll. And, B, I think I realized that it was sort of a, pathetic attempt to sort of hold on to a friendship whose course had probably run. So, a couple of days later, I suppose I brought it to school or something. I lost the doll. It didn't work. I didn't see Graham much over the ensuing years, but when we were in our early 20s, I was walking one day in my town and there was a small accident. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. I think a kid fell over on his bike and the car might have hit the bike or something. After we made sure everyone was okay, I looked up and there was Grant, whom I hadn't really seen in 3-4 years. So we chatted, caught up a little bit. And, as we were leaving, he kind of stopped and he asked me, he said, "Hey," he said, "are you still a Kiss fan?" And I said, absolutely, right? I could never stop loving Kiss. And then he kind of looked at me again. He said, "I still have that Peter Criss doll." And it just kind of hit me that, maybe the Peter Criss doll had served its purpose, right? Even though, we didn't see each other anymore or anything, it had sort of symbolized or cemented a friendship in a way, I suppose. So that's one of my favorite stories from the book, I'd say.
When I was reading that, because as I was reading it, that was gonna be one of my questions at first, because when you said that, that you go, I didn't know at that point that was the last words I really would ever say to him.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, what happened to Graham? And then, like I said, later in the story, you talk about that accident and you said, then that part of it. But after that, you really didn't see him. Then after that point either, it's like one of those things, I guess you guys don't talk at all and just kind of.
No, and I've ran into a couple of kids or guys that he was hanging out with a little later. And,
sure,
they said they didn't keep up with him and that. And it really, it's just sort of the natural course of a friendship, sure, right? He lived right behind me and he was like my day one friend. And, you hang around with whoever's on your street, right? And then as you grow up, you kind of,
sure,
follow your own path.
Yeah, I tried to ditch Dennis. I mean, back in like 86, I think.
And then the internet came out and I was able to find him.
I was close. I was rid of him. We had moved on, and
a lot of stalking.
And then
a lot of stalking
went by, and suddenly I get a message, and I'm like, "Oh my God, you found my number."
This guy again.
I'm Ricky. I don't lose your number.
No, but it is cool. The thing I liked about when I, reading the book too was it just, we all have those stories, right? We all have some story about some, part of Kiss that just is special, right? There's something, at least I think so. I mean, I feel like there's been, the other day I was looking through my memory. I mean, Facebook memory popped up, and all it said at the top of it was like something about, I think I posted something that by this time tomorrow, my son will think I'm the coolest dad ever. Right.
Saw that.
Yeah, I saw that one.
So I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I don't even know what it means.
I don't remember
so
what
I
it was.
look back at the date. I'm looking back through pictures. Like, I can't really find anything. So I messaged him and I said, "Hey, Noah, I got this thing today. It came up on Facebook." I said, Am I the coolest dad? And do you remember what this was about? Well, to your point about having kids and when they come into Kiss, they're different, right? So my Kiss is different than his. He's 21. So he grew up with not Ace and Peter in the band,
right,
at all. So his Kiss is Eric Singer, because he really didn't know Eric Carr, and it was Bruce, and it's Tommy. So right, it's a different, he's got the different thing, but I took him to the Indianapolis Expo and we met Paul and Eric and Tommy and Bruce. And
nice.
I'm like, that's a pretty good freaking day.
Yeah, not bad.
So he sent me a picture, because I think it was this one. It's a picture of him and Eric. He's a huge Eric Singer fan. So a picture of him and Eric, and I went, well, this one wasn't important, which I sent him the one of him and Paul, and then the picture of him and Bruce. And he goes, "Yeah, I already met Bruce." Like, whatever, dude. And then him and Tommy. So it was, it's just cool that we've got to have those experiences with our family. And to be honest, one of the things I like now, when I go to a show, is to take somebody that's never been and to watch, not because I like the show, because trust me, I've seen the freaking show. It's the same show for the last 15, 20 years. Yeah. But to see somebody else see the spectacle of the show, to me, is rewarding. It's just the coolest thing ever to see somebody just sit through there and the whole time, their eyes big as saucers and mouth open. And
one of the things I talk about in the book is, I didn't really push Kiss on anybody, I don't think. In fact, I was kind of the other way, because a lot of people knew me in junior high as like the Kiss guy. So I'd kind of try to shy away and not mention it. But, you know, anytime I befriended someone new, it didn't take long for them to sort of say, you know, hey, you've never showed me your Kiss stuff, or, you know, can I borrow that, you know, that VHS live bootleg tonight? And, you know, can I take this magazine? You know, it just seemed like it was infectious, right? Like the curiosity was too much. I talk about it in the story there. When I was in my early 20s, we had a big house on a hill, great view, in-ground pool. One night my parents were out of town. I had a party, not a huge party, maybe 20 something people there. And at one point, maybe 10 o'clock at night, I looked around, I realized like a group of people were missing. So I kind of went in my house and looked around. I wasn't concerned. I knew most of them pretty well. And there's about 8 guys and a few girls just going through my Kiss collection. They got an album on and they see me. And then they're like, you know, hey, Ron, remember when we went downtown and got this magazine? And remember that guy sold you this doll? And remember we did the air band to this? And, you know, so everyone's got a different Kiss, but I think it's infectious, right? Just kind of spreads to those who we know who are kids.
Yep. Kiss is something penicillin will not get rid of. You know, one of my favorite, you know, besides taking my son to see Kiss when he was like 7 years old, my second favorite Kiss related story that involves my son, I used to have to work every third or fourth weekend at my current employer. And my wife just called me at work one day and she says, I want you to know I'm in Kiss hell. And I said, what do you mean by that? She said, Ian has been running around the house all day singing, "Oh no, tears are falling." And that's all he will sing. So for like 8 hours, he ran around the house in circles singing. So, even though I didn't get to witness it, it's still a favorite memory just because I knew it tortured her.
Well, at least he wasn't screaming, you know, put your hand in my pocket, grab onto my rocket. You know, there's always that option.
That would have been funnier, actually.
It would have been. So that's what I tell my wife, and she goes, "Where's your keys at?" You know, you know, forgetting that I'm holding something. Which pocket your keys in? I just immediately say that. And sometimes she goes, I know. Hand in your pocket, grab onto your rocket. I know. And I'm like, but you're ruining it. Don't take the fun away.
That song's just got some incredible lyrics in it, doesn't it? You know,
Incredible is a good word.
Yeah, that's funny though.
For sure. I mean, a lot of Kiss songs have some pretty incredible lyrics in them.
Yeah,
he comes up with some good ones.
some insane
what,
stuff.
What do you mean Rocket Ride is not really about an astronaut?
The song's really about a black hole, right? Isn't that what he said?
That's right. Yeah, on the London Joe.
Yeah.
So I assume that you do not have a publisher. You have self-published this book. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just did it myself, from a fan to the fans.
There you go.
At least you can collect all the royalties.
Yeah.
You don't have to share them or anything.
Yeah, 70% of them.
Is that the cut? They get 30%?
I think that's roughly what it is. It varies in different marketplaces. It varies between the ebook and the paperback. And then, you know, Kindle Unlimited kind of changes everything, right? Because they look at the total pages read divided by the total subscriptions in a month. So
really, wow, that's pretty complicated. It's like Napster.
I haven't seen anything yet. So far, I'm about $800 in the hole for this project.
So you'll get your check for your 15 cents here at some point.
I paid for the book, so you got something coming.
I did. I paid for the also.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Bill.
Or the ebook, yeah. So
whatever.
I like it on. Yeah, I'm kidding. But no, it was a good read. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was just fun to sit back and, like I said, and it sparked me to think about a lot of things that happened, you know, as a growing up, the same deal. So
that's great to hear that, and that was exactly the intent for sure.
Oh, cool.
I liked it. I thought the ending when you make the reference to "We Are One."
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Way to go, Bill.
Can I not talk about that?
You talk whatever. It's an open book.
Well, it's an open book, damn it. And I got it pulled up here so I can see it. I just thought it was interesting how you kind of just tied it all together with that last line and using that. And I actually, you know, I'm not a huge fan of that record. But that is one song that I do really kind of like that song. It's just different and it's got a different flavor to it. I mean, it's just a different
was my
Play-
kid's
got it.
favorite song.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
we get in the car. He used to have that in there when I had that. And every time he got in the car, he wanted to hear that song. I get
Well,
him from
there you go.
daycare. Oh yeah, he was. And
I
I like the
kinda-
fact too that you did all your appendage. You know, you put all your favorite albums in order, your songs. You know, why? I mean, it's what we all did as kids. You know,
Why not? It changes.
We
all
still
the
do
time.
it about every other week.
how do you put Ace Frehley's solo album at number 4? What's up with you anyway?
I know. I don't know. Did I put it at number 4? Wow,
You
that's a
did.
bit of a
You
shot.
did. You went Paul, Gene, Peter, and then Ace.
I've got this thing where I don't know if sometimes I'm like a stubborn Kiss fan or something. Like sometimes I'm almost like determined to disagree with the status quo or something like that.
I'm just giving you shit.
I
It's
don't know.
actually because he feels sorry for Peter Chris.
Maybe.
You know what I think it was? I think it was because as I was working on the book, I'd want to put some Kiss on, but some of the stuff was too distracting. So I listened to all the Peter Chris solo stuff, like the 2 after Kiss albums and the solo album so much, right? Because it was kind of on the background. So
I've
that's
never
probably
heard
why
those
Peter
albums.
jumped up.
I had Chris
I
Cat.
have never either. I've never heard
Chris
Out of
Cat
Control or
was
the
with
other
the third one. Was Chris Cat the third one?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
that one, but the first 2, Out of Control, whatever, I've never heard them. I don't even know what they sound like. No
I haven't
clue.
either. That's horrible.
Meow.
We probably ought to. Oh, we're
Check
probably
them
going to
out.
get.
I
We're probably
like
going to
them.
get
Check
tossed.
them out.
You have to check them out.
I'll have to do that. So what's some of that paraphernalia you got back there on your behind your shoulder there?
I don't know if there's anything as impressive as is that a Kiss cruise? Oh, your Kiss poster there. That's just.
Oh, that's a
live
fat head up
35.
there. That's like a sticker that hangs on the wall.
That's a beauty. That's a beauty. I don't know. I mean, I've got, to be honest.
But you got a
I
few
feel-
dolls back there, dude. You're hiding the dolls.
I got, well, this is a towel I caught at the Crazy Night show.
I have a
well,
Crazy
actually-
Nights towel.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
I
And
actually
it's been
didn't
sitting
catch
by
this
my
one, though.
computer to show since I got it because a friend gave it to me last year and I have yet to show it.
Is that the
Is
one
it-
that Shannon gave you?
That's right. Yeah. Handed
you
to
go.
me by Shannon Tweed. And
Wow.
same concert, I got the Eric Carr drumstick, right?
Oh, That's
was
fantastic.
Nice.
I got the dolls back there. I've got, my original scrapbook. I would cut up all the photos and the record
Yeah.
album sleeves. And I was so desperate. I got my hands on a book that I borrowed and I had my mom take me to the real estate office so I could photocopy some things. So
I see you
Been
got
there,
an
done
animalized what's it, banner wrap, leg wrap thing back there? Is that what that is? I have
Oh,
one of
yeah.
those too.
yeah. Well,
Yeah. Yep.
This was like the first souvenir, and I got a chuckle out of this in the book because obviously I bought this at the Animalize concert. And as I was paying for it, I thought like, what am I going to do with a scarf? Like, am I ever going to wear a scarf?
It's not a scarf, it's a leg bandana. Do you not remember the 80s?
It's a tourniquet. It's a tourniquet.
Yeah. But, here it is. What is it? 40 years later or something. I still got it. So
Yeah,
I
mine's
guess it
sitting
was
right over
money
there.
well
I'd love to get a Spirit of 76 poster, a new one. I wish have they re-released
Why
those?
would you want a new one? You don't want a
Because
new
I don't.
one.
Well, I don't. I had one on my
Don't
wall
want
for
a new
years,
one.
and it's it got trashed at one point or gone. I had that one. I had the Ace Frehley one where he's kind of laying back with this thing, and then I had that great big 6-foot one with the multiple pictures on it. I had the.
Oh,
or
yeah, I
eight-
had that
or
one.
6x4 or whatever it was. Great big poster.
That one's a Bootwell. So I think it's original. Isn't that the,
Probably. Yeah.
I think
but-
so.
but I know
Yeah,
that
I'd like
a
to
few years
have one
ago,
of
I
those.
bought that Empire State Building poster off
That's a cool one.
Amazon and it's a reprint.
Well, and I had one out of a magazine that they had backwards because Paul's eyes, stars on the other fucking eye. I hate when they do. They used to do that shit in the magazines, and it pissed me off so bad. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Just
Does
wasting
it matter?
it.
Yeah, exactly. For sure.
Damn
That's
right.
that's when you're not getting something legit.
For sure, for
So,
sure.
so is your book available exclusively on Amazon or can listeners find it somewhere else?
Yeah, it's exclusively at Amazon, right? You can get it either ebook or print book, whatever market in Amazon. It's there. You can order 24 hours a day for your reading pleasure.
Well, everybody
on.
that's listening to this, you need to pick it up because it is a good story. It's a lot of fun to read. So,
Oh, thanks.
Bring back
Anthony.
some memories.
All right. So I asked Ron what Kiss album he would like to do a review of, and he chose Kiss Dynasty. Dynasty.
I listened to it today. I walked my 3 miles and I put my earphones on. And I listened to the whole thing.
Yeah,
Damn,
y'all better be careful because Dennis and Alan are starting to get in shape. Alan has lost 20 pounds so far, walking and riding bikes and eating
I'm
better.
6.7 pounds this week.
Good
Well, you
job,
got
guys.
one arm that isn't working. That's what's helping you, pal.
That's true.
I mean, really, let's be real.
I've been,
you
you know, I've been
can't use
eating-
both hands and shovel.
That's true. That's true. That is true.
Perfect.
You can tell these guys were roommates or whatever.
Oh, I can eat. Trust me. I've been having to cut back and I've been watching everything. But yeah.
Yep, I
getting there.
listened to it today too. It was good to kind of get
Yeah.
a little refresh. It's been a while.
Yeah, and I had some change of mind on a few songs too.
You know, I did too.
Interesting. Well,
You know, it's funny. I listened to I don't remember. It was one of the Kiss podcasts, and they were talking about Dynasty. And if you flip it over and look at the back, the songs are not in.
so
They're not in album order,
right.
you know. So they talked about making a playlist, you know, like that. So I made a Spotify playlist of the order that I like them in,
Okay,
you know,
so
and you could almost flip the record over and start on side 2
right,
for mine. But you know,
because
my number one song album starter on there would be Charisma, followed by Magic Touch, and then we can go from there.
so is the one on Spotify the way it is on the album?
The
not
one
the
on-
way not the way it's written on the back.
None of them are the way it's written on the back.
Right.
None of them are, unless
Right.
the one he made is
Right.
because he made it. Well, actually,
I'm
no,
just saying though, the
he
one
made
that's
the one that was his own.
the one that's on the record itself though is what Spotify has, right? I'm just
Correct.
double-
Yeah, the
That's what I'm just-
Spotify is the same, the listening thing. You know, I just realized
Right.
you mentioned it's alphabetical order, I think, with the number at the bottom, right? CDHIM.
right.
Like,
Well, there you
how
go.
ridiculous is that?
Well, I think they did that with.
I didn't know.
I don't know if they're of alphabetical order,
Huh.
but it seems like they did that with the Love Gun album as well.
Pita.
I didn't realize that reissue had the poster in it. Good grief.
Oh,
Well, look
He
at
doesn't
you.
like didn't like the original or anything.
Well, you know, dude, I have an original over, but it looks like shit. So when I buy new ones, I like the 180 gram. And you know, I'm
just
not
giving you- I'm just
not old
busting your
school.
balls,
I want a
man.
brand
Relax.
new one. Because my
but they
first
didn't, they didn't
one,
put the merchandise order form in there, I'm guessing.
no, they didn't
in the
do that.
reissue.
I wish they would do that and put like a not void or something where you could just see it, you know, and it'd be neat to have those. No, my original one had actually on Charisma had a bump on it or something. It would cause my needle to skip every time. I mean, it was weird. There was never a scratch on it, but I had saw on one of the,
Well, that was the
message
part of the
boards.
recording where Gene thrust his pelvis.
So anyway,
I wonder if I
All
still have mine. I'm gonna look at mine real quick.
yeah,
You gotta have it nearby when you're talking about it, I figure. you
yeah,
know?
I've got the original, but it's over. It was sitting in a yard barn forever.
I've got
was so
mine right
scratched up.
here.
It was so scratched.
You
up.
can't
Yeah.
see it worth a crap, but
Nice and easy, right, Alan?
yeah.
You know, sometimes my copy of Destroyer I had since I was like 5-6 years old had a huge scratch on it. And, you know, I almost got to like it, right? When I have other versions and I'll say, nah, I want to put on my original, right? And hear
Right.
that scratch, part of the whole experience.
Right.
I have.
Mine has my name on it because I was worried about Dennis borrowing it and not returning it for 35.
That doesn't help though. See, here's my original Destroyer, and it's destroyed. But I had Gene sign it. And he's like, "That's a very well worn. What? You got a poster in there?
I do.
That's an OG.
That's an
There you
OG,
go.
bro.
Oh, cool.
Look at that.
Well, good for you.
Look
I'll
what
give you
I
a dollar
found.
for it. I give you
Wow.
$1 for it, Bill.
Yeah, but yours got
Okay,
yours
ain't
got
gonna
all
happen.
those worn out little cracks and shit in it.
Well, it's got
That's called patina.
Oh, it's been tacked up too. I had mine on the wall. I tacked mine up.
All my albums have little, thumbnail things because I had them
Yeah.
all up at one time around my bedroom.
Oh yeah. You got an order for him? You motherfucker. Oh, I had the pinball
Oh.
machine on too. That's cool.
awesome.
It's intact. Look at that.
How cool.
The
It's like
pinball thing's a
Christmas.
contest, isn't it? I think you have to send away to win the pinball machine.
Was that
Yep.
no, was that
Win a
you, is
pinball
that
machine.
your Owen or just one you
Yeah.
picked up
It's
recently?
got my name on it right there.
Oh, well, I need to grab that. It's got your
You're
name
not
on it.
borrowing- You're not borrowing anything, jackass.
I wonder if any of my other records have Bill Algy on them. I have to look.
Yeah, probably. Let me see
I know,
what else.
I know
is.
I had a Judas Priest that did for quite a few years.
Oh, this yeah. Here's the there's the insert. That's what you can order. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So it's a poster. It's a T-shirt. It's
Tour
a
book.
pendant. Makeup kit.
I got the tour book right here.
Jacket.
Yeah, that shitty jacket. It's just
Oh,
weird.
is that Myler shit?
Yeah,
Or
Milo
that-
jacket.
Yeah, it's actually like Tyvek.
What is that? Is that a lanyard? Oh, that's a keychain.
Yeah.
The pinball poster would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Makeup
I think you
kit.
get reprints of that too. I've seen maybe
Interesting.
not like the original.
Oh, you could get the tour book for the 77, 78 tour for $3.
$3.
I paid
Shoot.
$25 for the
$3 back in
So-
1979.
Yeah, this is in bad shape though. It's like been
Yeah.
taped together and
Been loved.
it has been loved. That is for sure.
All right. Well, let's
What
jump in.
you do with your records, Bill, is your own thing, and we don't need to know.
Well, let's
man.
jump into this review.
All right, let's do it.
What we typically do is we let our guest be the first to voice their opinion on each song. So, song one, side one, I Was Made for Loving You.
I mean that's a song that kind of re-sparked my interest in Kiss when I was about 14 years old after sort of a 3-year hiatus from the band. I mean, the energy, the bass line, the lyrics. I saw the video right that night that I kind of reignited with Kiss. So I mean, it's a classic. I was so happy when they started doing it, getting concert in the 80s. I don't like it as much now because Paul's voice kind of has some limitations, but not my favorite song on the album, but I consider it a Kiss gem.
Dennis.
I Was Made for Loving You is not one of my favorite songs. Never was, still isn't. It's not a bad song. It was the one thing when we bought this album and you put it on, this is the one that put the death nail in it for my best buddy, who was my Kiss buddy from 4th grade on. When we got this, he was like, I'm buying Rush. I'm checking out Rush and Pink Floyd. I'm going that way. Yeah, he was not happy. And then, but no, it isn't a bad song. It was something that they, of course, that they did, like they did with everything else. They followed trends, and they had to get their obligatory, disco song in there. It's fun to hear live though. And today when I was humming along, I probably sang a little bit while my neighbors are like, "What the fuck's this fat guy singing that song?"
Is he having a stroke?
Yeah.
Somebody called 911.
Alan, you're still recording this, right?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure that we have that on recording.
Yeah.
That's going to be important to come up later
There you go.
and some other time.
No, but no, it is what it is, and it's and like you said, we all saw the video. When it came on, I think it was Don Kirshner rock concert. They were playing those kind of like the midnight videos or whatever. I remember seeing it. It was one of those things too when you first seen that. The costumes just killed it for me. I never liked because they look so good in 77. The Love Gun, and when they come out with Dynasty. It just Gene's boots were fucking looked like balls of aluminum foil, and it just I don't know. I too flashy, too much bullshit. So, but anyway,
Super Kiss.
Yep. All right, Who's
Bill.
next? Hey, Bill.
Not my favorite Kiss song.
Short and sweet.
Well, for me, I kind of equate this, I Was Made for Loving You. I equate this to when Van Halen put out 1984 and the first song on there was Jump. It was such a departure from what the quote unquote true fan base, and I use that term sarcastically, but it was such a departure that, like Dennis said, a lot of people checked out. it never bothered me. The costumes never bothered me. And to be honest, I never really paid attention to the costumes until I was well into my adulthood.
Right.
You know, somebody was like, well, they were wearing the destroyer costumes for this, but then they mixed the love gun. And I'm like, what? I never paid attention. I didn't care. I liked the music.
I kind of like the costume thing though. I mean, even with Dynasty, I did like Gene's costume. I like only because I like the capes. I thought the capes were kind of cool, but I did
Ace's was the best.
Yeah, Ace had a great costume. I didn't understand. Well, I don't know. Looking back, thinking about it, I'm not sure I'm a big fan of those costumes.
Peter with all that fur though, and
Aces was great.
And the eight
Gene's was
monkey
pretty
heads
good.
And shit. It's like, oh, what
Paul's,
the
I was like, dude.
Yeah. Too much pink.
Really?
Too much purple.
Okay.
Anyway.
Sorry, Alan. I stole your thunder, buddy.
Alan,
All right. Track number 2, 2000 Man.
You didn't tell what you liked. Or
I did too.
You did? Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
What?
I got caught up on that. I'm still in the costumes. I can't get by the costumes. All right, go ahead.
Well, I'm accustomed to you not listening, Dennis. So
so was my wife. All right.
moving along.
Well, the funny thing is that the Stones are one of my top 5 bands also. So, here you got Ace doing the Stones with 2000 Man. I love playing it. I'm a very amateur guitarist and I really enjoy playing it, but it's not one of my favorite songs on the album, I'd have to say. I don't know. I find it just a little bit, I don't know, simple, right? Doesn't get me excited. Not much different about it, I'd say.
Dennis.
All right. I used to have that thought. I really did. I didn't even know it was a Stone song, to be honest. I'd never really even heard it before Ace come out with it. You're used to Ace's songs. Ace doesn't have the most, his songs are basically simple. They're kind of goofy at times. We found it out with Torpedo Girl and a few other ones, but
it's not really about a torpedo.
I know that. But anyway, when it first came out, I really didn't care much for it. Today, though, listening to it, it was kind of like I was listening to it going, okay, you know what? This isn't that bad of a song. I really, as I'm walking along, I'm like going, it is simple, but it has just a little bit of a, it's catchy. So today I had a little bit more respect for it than I've had before. So that one moved up the list just a tad. So, Bill.
It was refreshing from the first song. Because I was really worried. I remember putting it on going, oh my God, this is the first song. And then I went, oh, okay. There's a glimmer of hope. Right. No, I like 2000 Man. I think, and I like seeing him do it in concert too. So I think I like that song. Good one for me.
No, like Dennis said, I didn't realize for a long time that this was a Rolling Stone song. I never really cared a whole lot for it until I saw them do it on Unplugged, and then there was something about that sparked that, and it changed the way I look at that song.
There's something about Unplugged that makes
it worked acoustically though, and you wouldn't think that song would, but it did work acoustically.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yep.
It wouldn't be one I was like, what? You're going to do that? But anyway.
Track number 3, Sure Know Something.
Well, I continue probably my unpopular reviews here, and that's one of my all-time favorite Kiss songs. My friend had a copy of Killers early on, and we'd put it on, and I remember just thinking, what is that song? Like, it was sort of one that I just skipped over when I would earlier listen to the Dynasty, but it caught on. I think the lyrics are kind of cool with the whole, you taught me things they never taught me at school, and maybe a little bit cliche, but, kind of opened up my imagination. And I love the kind of, I don't know if there's a touch of maybe some jazz in there, or a little Steely Dan possibly or something, but that's one of my faves.
Kiss. Well, write a cliche lyric? No.
Don't feel like you're bad, because I'm telling you right now, this ties the number 1 song on the album for me. It ties another song. Same reason. I think it's, even though it is a slower song, the bass line in this fucking song is awesome. And I've learned, it was one of the first Kiss, or when I got my bass, that was one of the first fucking bass lines that I learned to play. I just love Gene's playing on that. I've always said Gene was a very underrated bass player. And it's really, really good. What?
That's Paul.
Oh, is it Paul?
That is Paul.
Well, then you know what? Kudos to Paul. So there you go. But anyway, it's like the video. I love the video, and the only reason being is that breakdown part where they're and they show the faces, and then when they show them all up close, and all of a sudden Dean kind of turns his head and sticks his tongue out. You know what I'm talking about? That.
Oh yeah.
Video. That's my favorite Kiss video clip ever. I used to wait for that to come on. It was like, and then and it's like Dean gets off. Just want to pause it and go, look at that. That's so fucking cool. But yeah, I can't say enough about that song. Love it. And it's a good walking song. It's got a good stride to it. I don't know what the beats per minute is,
but it's not a stride. When you listen to that song and you're walking, it's a strut, man.
All right,
you're strutting out there.
Strutting.
Well done, Bill.
Anyway,
you are. He's out there, got the glide.
I was singing hard too. Neighbor's like, "What the fuck? That's awesome." He's a retard. Okay. All right. Sorry. All right, Mr. Bill.
That's a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 for me. This is it's probably my favorite song on the record too. I've from the very first time I heard it, I was like, that's the song I like. And I don't know why it's, I just, it's a little different. It's got a little different groove to it, kind of a bluesy kind of groove. Mm-hmm. And it's just, to your point, that bass line, when that bass line first starts, you're just like, this is cool.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm drawing a blank on it, but the riff to Sure Know Something is a recycled riff from one of the songs on Paul Stanley's solo album.
Yeah, somebody was reading that yesterday.
But to your point, Sure Know Something was the very first Kiss song that I ever learned on bass. And speaking of strutting, Strutter was the second song that I learned on bass. That is Gene, and you are right. When Gene wants to, Gene can play some pretty tasty bass lines.
Fuck yeah, he can.
I think he's an underrated bass player.
He's got an old school feel to him. That's why.
That's right. Well, it seems that I heard somebody say that they heard him say in an interview that a lot of times those bass lines that he was playing, that's what he imagined the horn section would be playing.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
So, I don't know if there's any truth to that, but it sounds good.
I think it's a lie. Absolutely.
I don't know.
The first bass line I learned, I'm not much of a musician, was Detroit Rock City. And it was just so different, right? I just thought, wow, this is, maybe it wasn't the first. I started with like Strutter, Cold Gin. It was just so simple, right? And then all of a sudden Detroit Rock City was so different. So
it's a tough line. It's a tough one to pull off. It's kind of different.
Detroit Rock City is difficult to play.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, bass line's rough. All right.
Track number 4, Peter Criss makes his one and only appearance on this album with Dirty Livin'.
I love Dirty Livin'. I know it had been around since like the pre-Kiss days. I don't know Chris's lyrics. I just found that he kind of hit his pace on them. Right? It really allowed him to shine. I think of maybe Hard Luck Woman. You get that raspy voice and so forth, but I just think he's killing it on Dirty Livin', right? Opening up a little bit, seeing his full range. I know it's the only song on the album that he drums to, and I'm not a drummer myself, but no, I love the whole action and energy with it. And then the guitar solo kind of comes in and it's a little slower, comes together nice. I love the song.
Cool. I'm not a big Peter fan as far as his music.
He likes Little Peters.
But yeah.
Did you say, leave it there. Wait a minute. Did you say you're not a fan of Big Peters, or you're not a Peter fan?
Big Peter fan.
Oh, okay.
Peter Criss fan.
But anyway, confused. I'm so confused.
The song though is it works, and it's a continuation to me of his solo album. This is kind of the stuff, because it's not a Kiss. It doesn't have that Kiss ring to it. It's got more of a upbeat tempo-y kind of, what he was doing some on his on his solo album. So it's kind of a continuation of that.
Like a
And,
leftover.
Could have been, but anyway, it works. This album's got, it goes, it goes all over the spectrum. So it's not like it's a sort, or it's just out there being weird or anything. It's just as weird as everything else. So it fits in the categories, and and his voice is really good on it. Actually, I like Peter's voice on there. It fits him. So yeah, good song. Not my favorite.
Bill.
Not my favorite song on the record, but not my least favorite song on the record either. So I thought it was really pretty cool record or song. But you're right, it does sound like it's just something left, like it was left over from the solo record, because it just fits that same vein. But then if you go back, you look at Hooligan and that kind of stuff, they're all kind of, that's his genre. That's his sweet spot.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's always been Peter's thing. So
yeah.
Well, I think the reason that it was left over from the Peter Criss solo album is because it was too good to go on that album.
That could be.
You know what? It was left over from Lips, from the before Kiss. Like
I'm just being a smart ass, man. I will say this: it's my favorite Peter Criss song on this album. But in all seriousness, I dig this song. It is my number 4 favorite song on the album. So let's flip the record over now. Song 2, side 1, or if you have the CD or the Spotify, it's song number 5. Charisma. Gene finally makes his first appearance on Dynasty.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Doesn't get a song till side 2. It's in, if there's only 9 songs on the album, Charisma is in my bottom 3. It was one that I clasped onto when I was a young kid. I thought it was just great. Like, I didn't know what charisma meant, had to look the word up. I thought it was Gene sort of being menacing and so forth. Now, I don't know, listening back to it, it comes up a touch flat for me. I kind of find that before it's over, I'm already thinking like, okay, what's the next song coming up? So I don't dislike it, but I got to put it in my bottom of 3 on this album.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's not my favorite Gene song. And like I said, actually, this album only has 2 Gene songs?
Correct.
So yeah, so he doesn't shine on this album for me. And and especially today, listening to it with the earphones on, you hear his deep, that little extra voice that he's putting in there. It's kind of goofy. It's kind of, the song's already kind of tongue in cheek. I don't know. Gene doesn't shine on this album for me at all. Really. So, especially since I know he's not playing the serial song on bass. Completely failed.
Complete F.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with not my, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this song either. I'm not. I just have never been. I don't know. I just don't like the melody of the song. There's just something about it. I don't get it. I just don't care for it. So I'm gonna stick in the hate vein. Pull us out of this, Alan.
I can tell you what you don't like about this song, and you probably don't even realize it. Every lyric is a question.
No, I didn't even pay any attention to that.
Every single line in this song is a question.
Interesting.
What is my charisma? What is it I've got? What is it about me that makes you so hot? Every single, and I didn't pay attention to that either. I was listening to Pot of Thunder. I think that podcast, they went through every single Kiss song in the entire Kiss catalog and did an episode about it.
Wow.
And that Charisma episode is my all-time favorite Pot of Thunder episode, because they had so much fun with that. They pointed out the question, and one of the guys kept going, charisma, ooh! The whole show,
making fun of how he yells it at the end.
Yeah. But this is actually my number 1 favorite song on this album.
Really?
Wow.
Honest to God. I mean, if I put this album together, I would have flipped it over and started with Charisma, and we would have gone from there. And of course, the first Rock and Pod All-Star Jam we did, I played bass on this song, and
Mhm.
this song has got a pretty fun bass line. It's not a difficult bass line,
Right.
but I mean it's simple, but it's tasty.
All right.
Yeah.
It was more fun watching you guys do that at the first Rockin' Pod than it was
Than
me listening
listening
to it again today.
Well, that's because everybody that was on that stage was having fun.
That's right.
true.
Yeah.
Tis true.
All right. Song 2, side 2, Magic Touch.
Magic touch.
I love Magic Touch. It kind of it's not one of my favorite in the album. It kind of falls into the middle, but I love it. I love the bridge, right? He gets a little higher in the bridge there. And it's just, it's not one that maybe makes you jump up on your feet and get excited, but it's just sort of, it carries, it's got a nice melody, right? It's Paul being Paul. So I like it, sort of fits in the middle for me.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, it saves that, starting out the charisma puts it on a downswing. So this one's it does raise it up some. Yeah, I like it. It's a good Paul song. Like I said, it's nothing heavy, nothing fast, nothing, nothing spectacular, but it's a good solid song, and sing along with it and enjoy it. So, Bill.
So what are we on? Magic Touch?
Magic Touch.
Yeah, I like this song. Great song. I mean, I like
his favorite part and what he's not telling you is the Paul Stanley One Live Kiss or whatever that was. He is on that DVD while they're playing that song.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Actually, I don't know if it's while they're playing that song or not.
I don't think it's that song, but it was cool seeing it live and seeing him do it.
Absolutely, because that Magic Touch never got played live by Kiss,
Yeah, right.
and 1,000,000 to 1. So those two songs, Paul doing live, were fantastic, and for me, this is my number 2 song on this album.
Yeah, I love this song.
I'm telling you, flip that record over and start on side 2. And
you don't have to do that.
We're almost. I will send you my spot. Well, I know you don't have Spotify, but I will send you I have a YouTube playlist as well.
That'll work.
Yeah, I will send that to you,
and I will take it.
All right, the next song, Hard Times.
Hard Times I liked early too. I sort of thought, wow, this is autobiographical. Ace, he's from the Bronx, he was tough and all that. And I like the bridge. Is it the bridge? Don't want to be there or even think back. But now listening through, I did the same thing as you guys. I kind of, crammed a little bit, did some homework, and I sort of put it closer to the bottom than the top, right? It's good, but it's not one of my faves on the album either.
Well, Dennis seems to be experiencing technical difficulties. He just
he's gone. I just looked up and he's gone.
Well, he just sent, that is his screen.
Oh, the black screen kiss of death. Well, we'll continue without him.
Yeah.
We'll do. All right. So we're at Hard Times. Right? I actually 3 Ace songs on this record is an amazing feat, I think, for any Kiss record. And actually, I think I like this song too. I like all 3 Ace songs on here. So this is probably this might be number 3, 2, 3 for me. Probably number 3 song altogether. I mean, I like Ace on this record. I really do.
Well, like I said, flip this record over.
I'm doing that.
This is my number 3 favorite song on this album. And again, this is another one of those songs that they never performed live, but Ace performs this live with his current band. And it's just badass. And again, it's a simple bass line. It's, it's I want to say that it's the opposite of what the guitar is doing, but it's just kind of like an echo of what the guitar is doing, and you can always tell when Ace writes a bass line because it pretty well follows what the rhythm guitar player is doing, which I like that.
Yeah.
See me now?
So Dennis, we're on Hard Times and it's your turn.
Okay. the hell happened to my computer? Did you see what I sent to you?
Yeah, I showed it on the video.
What does it do?
I don't
Well,
know.
what caused that?
I
Anyway,
don't
it just
know.
went- it was
Let's
like
just keep rolling.
okay, let me get my rolling here. I'm sorry, I was freaking out. All right, so Hard Times. Love it. I love this song. I think Ace shines on this album big time. I think he hit a good one with that. I do like it. I think what you're talking about. I like the guitar to the echo to the bass. You know, dun it, boom, dun it, boom. You know, and it kind of.
Absolutely.
I think that's really cool. That's something that he really hasn't done. They haven't done, and it's unique. It makes the sound really cool. But anyway,
right.
I like
and
that
that
song
one
a lot.
is one that if you're actually playing with someone else,
Right.
you know, you as the bass player, you have to pay attention because
Oh yeah, you get lost real quick,
real fast.
Yeah.
Not
like
not
that song.
that's ever happened to me.
Right. Anyway,
All right. The next one up is Gene's other contribution to Dynasty, Xray Eyes.
So I've got this one as my number 2 or 3 song on the album. I love it. I love the piano, and you've got they've all got sort of different versions of their voice. And when Gene starts off in the chorus, I don't know how you describe his voice, but I love it when he kind of goes into that key. I think it sounds great with the piano. And I think it builds nice to the chorus. Big surprise, right? And I heard the demo today actually, and I love that too, right? It's on YouTube, so it's one of my faves on the album, Xray Eyes.
wow. I hate to be a downer.
Had to happen.
Hated it. I hated it. I mean, it's just, oh my God. Gene only had 2 jobs on this album. He failed all of them. I don't.
Well, this was the beginning of Gene trying to be a movie star.
That's true. So he probably didn't put he probably just, okay, I got to write some shit. I don't like the backups vocals. It just doesn't work for me. It's just not it's a skipper. It's a hell of a skipper.
So what Dennis is saying is Gene went over to the litter box and scooped a couple of times.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just not a fan. I mean, and the thing was, I don't remember not liking that song before. You know what I'm saying? It's just this time around, I'm like going, man, that song just doesn't work for me anymore. I don't think it ever was really big, but I don't think I hated it as bad as I hated it today. I had a newfound hate for it. I just really, it was bad. So yeah, I made it through, but it was tough.
Wow.
I knew, and I've been walking I was about the end of my walk, and I was sweating. And
You walk faster to get home, so you can listen.
I was about ready to.
He double stepped Xray
Actually,
Eyes.
I actually heard 3 more songs because I didn't get home quick enough, so I was still doing about 3 miles. So anyway, yeah, not good. All right.
For me, I'm going to be the opposite of Dennis, and I'm hanging more with our buddy Ron because I like this song. This actually number 2 for me.
Wow.
I wouldn't mind hearing. I mean, I would like to flip this record over or change it to what I'd like to see, because Sure Know Something was a song I really liked, and Xray Eyes is another one. I think it follows it. It sounds to me, it's Gene kind of still doing the Great Expectations thing, and in a way, and I think it kind of has that same little vibe to it, which is a good carryover. So that's I'm good with it. No problem.
Xray Eyes is my number. It's either my number 6 or my number 7 on the list. I can't remember.
It's down near the bottom.
Yeah, I still like the song though.
Something's got to be last.
Something's got to be last, and if we're getting ready to get to that one. Spoiler alert!
There's a preview for you.
Spoiler. Now, I have more to say about that song. I still like that song, but
this album's been a real different of opinion for us 3. Usually we're a little bit closer. This
still really isn't as brutal as the Def Leppard album.
Yeah, that was an agreement though. Everybody fucking
everybody hated that song.
No, I'm saying this one here is weird because we're all of us are different on our thing. So
yeah,
not as usual. So
okay, all right, last one.
All right, we have hit the end of the road, end of the album.
And Save Your Love, save this album.
Save Your Love.
Well, it's scary going first here, but Save Your Love. It's my favorite Ace song on the album. I'm sure it's probably maybe some of your guys' least favorite. But it's funny because when I first got this album, I was young. And like I say, right, it was Charisma. I was made for loving you. And then years later, I guess I would always skip this song. And years later, I kind of listened. I was like, wow, I really like the chorus there. And I love the part. Is it the bridge where kind of the guitar and the drums get going and that it kind of speeds up for a bit. So yeah, it's in my top half, and it's my favorite Ace song on the album.
Cool.
Very
Yeah,
good.
this one here is it ties for first place with Sure Know Something. I think it is. Ace was on a roll. He come out of that solo album, had a little bit more. I think it gave him all kinds of, I can do this. Yeah, confidence and being able to do this. And Hard Times is a really good song, and Save Your Love is just fucking phenomenal. I like the way the lead in it is something that Ace hadn't done for a long time, or if he really hadn't done it up to that point, whereas almost kind of melodic. He took his time. It has a bluesy kind of background to it. It's still using the Ace. Some of his
Paul. I'm kidding.
No, but I'm saying it has, how Ace's solo has basically, it has parts that he uses in every song. You know what I'm saying? You can't, it's
the pentatonic scale.
That's an Ace lick. That's an Ace lick. You know what I'm saying? He does these, but he's not trying to do it as fast as he can or sloppy. He's really just kind of going with the music, and I love it. I think it's a fun. It's like I said, it's my ties for number one. So there you go. Love it. Way to end the album. Bill.
Not my favorite song on the record, but way up there.
Okay.
But what if this was the leadoff song on the first side?
Could be.
Do you think they'd put an Ace song to start an album?
I didn't ask that question.
That would be something.
Because I
Sure
think
know
that song, that song and the tone of that song, and like you said at the end,
Right.
To me in the end, it kind of leaves you kind of like, oh, that's a pretty good way to end it.
Right.
But what if you started there?
Could have.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
So just a thought. I mean, because I think the song's got a lot of great. I mean, an Ace song, start it with an Ace song. It would be. It's never going to start with an Ace song though. We all know that's never going to happen. But I like that. I do like that song a lot. It's in that top three. I mean, the top three for me keep flipping around, so it is definitely top three, top four, for sure in that. But yeah, I would have led the record off of that, to be honest.
I wouldn't argue with you there. I liked it. So
Bold move.
There you go.
interesting.
I like this song. In every playlist you've got, there has to be a last song. I think my favorite part of this song is the backing vocals when they're all doing the gang vocals,
Right.
Save Your Love. I like that, how it's low and kind of deep.
Kind of monotone, just I like it.
And
too.
there's
It's different.
there's and Bill wouldn't get this because he doesn't like The Elder, but Under the Rose has that same kind of that same
droning
kind of
yeah. I like
You
it
know,
too.
Similarity there, yeah.
yeah. But I mean, overall, I don't dislike any of the songs on this album.
Right.
But again, one has to be at the end of the album, and this one is it. But I do like your idea of maybe putting it for. I'm gonna have to make another playlist and start it out with that just to see how it sounds.
All different versions. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's right.
Well, to me, it sounds more like a Kiss song off of the record that preceded this that would have kind of been a continuation.
Right after Love Gun.
Well, I guess after this, then I was
Yeah.
thinking of Unmasked. I was getting my records in the wrong order.
Well, that's okay. At least you didn't say it out loud like I called Crazy Nights Creatures of the Night.
That's true.
Exactly.
All right, Ron.
It was good. It was good to listen to it though. Again, I said, I hadn't listened to this album in full for a long time.
Well, that's
So it
what
was-
I like about
like-
when we do album
I do
reviews.
too. I do too. So,
Even if it is on through the night.
oh Lord.
Oh, is that you guys disagreed on Through the Night?
Well,
we all agreed. It
We
was
all agreed.
horrible.
We had a guest on it. He picked on through the night, because it was 40th anniversary or something. And, you know, by the second song, all four of us were just pummeling the whole album. You know,
This
there
is
was
a
like,
turd.
I think there was one or two songs on there we all dug, and the rest of them were like, man, this is shit.
That one has Bring It On to Heartbreak, doesn't it?
No,
No,
that's on on
that's
Through the
on-
Night.
Yeah, that's got
Well, that's on High and Dry.
Yeah,
Right,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Ron, it's what people don't know is whenever we do these album reviews, we don't talk about it before. We don't, you know, we text each other about this is what we're going to do, but we don't share how we feel about it or anything. And that record was, as soon as it went on, we were like, oh, we're all four just going to pan this thing. And it was bad. I mean,
well,
it
you
was
had
like,
Rock Brigade and you had Hello America, and then
Yeah,
after that,
those
it
were
just
the
turns
two,
to
yeah.
it just turns to shit at that point.
You
yeah,
know,
it was.
but
it
I
was
have,
just-
you know, I have so many friends that it's probably because it's their first album and it is pretty
Probably.
raw. You know, they like that rawness to it, you know, because I have friends that can't stand Pyromania, and that's my favorite Def Leppard album.
Yeah.
That's my
You know,
favorite. for
Because
sure.
that's really, I think that's when Mutt Lange,
Yeah, I think
you know,
you're right.
came into the Def Leppard family, and you know,
All right.
whatever.
well, if you want to
High
hear
and
one
Dry
worse
is
than,
good, so.
if you want to hear one worse than on Through the Night, you need to listen to Slang, because I did that shit show with our buddies
Oh,
from
I
Growing
haven't
Up Rock
even-
Podcast.
I haven't
It
even
was
listened to
horrible.
that. I'm glad you said
God.
something. I won't even try to listen to
I
it.
am absolutely sure that Michael and Steven and Sonny were punishing me.
I haven't heard that one at all either.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's okay. Really, don't.
Well,
Stay away.
that's probably why they haven't had me on the show, because of the Harry Nilsson song. Sonny
Yeah,
still
just-
hasn't recovered from
Just
that.
run. If anybody ever says, "Have you heard Slang?" Just run. Just go.
Stay away.
Well, Ron, we appreciate you coming on the
Yeah.
show. Tell everybody again the name of your book, where they can find it, and all that good stuff, and then we'll get out of here.
The book is I Stole Your Love, 100% true story of a 100% true Kiss fan. You can find out more by typing in I Stole Your Love book on Facebook or at True Kiss Fan on Twitter. And of course, if you go into Amazon there, you'll find it available on ebook and print book. And thanks a lot, guys. I really enjoyed the conversation. I appreciate you having me on.
Cool, man.
All right, man. Hang tight as I get us out of here. Y'all visit agesofrock.com. Check out our past episodes and social media links. And until next time, peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.